What's up, beautiful people? It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we have this very interesting video from Sowell, and it's titled Sowell and the Men Who Betrayed Martin Luther King, MLK. Also, I'm excited to check this one out. Let's check it out.
You've mentioned a couple of times how you say things and think differently than others. And I want to read, it'll take me just a minute here to read this paragraph and ask you to explain it further. This is deep in the book. And when I read it, it kind of popped out, and I wanted to ask you what you meant by all this. Say, any fundamental re-examination of the assumptions behind preferential policies. That's the name of the book. And still more so, any resulting change of policies can expect to encounter their vocal, bitter, and determined opposition, including inevitable charges of racism against outsiders, labels of traitor put on any members of their own group who disagree with them, who disagree publicly with them, and whatever other claims or charges seem likely to be politically effective. When you said labels of traitor put on any members of their own group who disagree publicly with them, were you talking about yourself?
Only as one among many. Randall Kennedy up at Harvard did a very fine article in the Harvard Law Review last June, for which he was denounced as an academic minstrel and other things because he was out of step. I mean, people who raise their heads will set off a search and destroy mission because people have a lot at stake and they're sitting on a house of cards. They have many assumptions which simply cannot be examined carefully because those assumptions will collapse and they'll fall from a very high position to a very low position. And they are not about to tolerate people questioning what they're saying.
Is there a way for you to put it in a nutshell about what people of, say, your own race say about you that they don't like what you say about
wait. I think one of the ways that the organized noisemakers have succeeded is saying that what they're saying is what their race is saying. My race is not saying that about me. Those particular individuals who are a small minority themselves within the black community, who have a vested interest in many of these programs, they are saying that. But when I checked out of my hotel this morning, you know, the black security guard came over and says, "Are you Sowell?" And I said, "Yes." And he shook my hand warmly, and he walked me the length of the corridor and talked about this and about that. And that's not at all an uncommon experience for me. So it's not Sowell versus blacks, it's the black intellectuals. And the black intellectuals are no more typical of the black population than white intellectuals are of the white population. But they have a very large vested interest in certain beliefs which underlie various programs from which they benefit enormously. And as I point out in the book, this is common around the world, that the elites benefit from preferential programs, even when those programs are in the name of the masses. The masses do not benefit.
Yeah.
In the case of the current so-called Civil Rights Act, the masses are going to lose big if that law goes into effect.
Why?
Because employers will not want to hire as many blacks in the jobs for which most blacks will be applying, because those will not be jobs as rocket scientists or as doctors or any of those things. And therefore they'll want to hold down percentages down there to what they can do on the higher ranks, which is going to be much less. And so you're sacrificing the working class blacks for the benefit of the professional elite.
How do the intellectual elite, both white and black, get to the position that they do in this country that you disagree with?
I mean, how do they have the influence they have?
Well, no, but what's their, from what your discussions over the years, what's their thought process that gets them there? Is it emotion or is it fact?
Emotion largely, but also a large amount of self-interest, increasingly self-interest. I think that if you went back, you know, into the 60s, you'd find people with different views like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. But I think that both those men believed in what they said. Whereas today, you have people who are simply professional hustlers. And again, this is not peculiar to blacks or peculiar to the United States or even peculiar to racial issues. That organizations, typically, many movements are set off by idealistic people who want to promote some good for mankind or for some group. But as time goes by and as they succeed, they'll be followed by people who can use these things for their own self-interest. And that's been the history of regulatory agencies in the government. It's been the history of, I think, of religions, that the first Christians who were being persecuted by the Roman Empire were not in it, you know, for what they could get, because all they were going to get is trouble. But once Christianity became the state religion, this became a very lucrative career for some people. and then you get an entirely different kind of person coming in at that point, and we can have an entirely different kind of movement.
Dr. Thomas Sowell has to be a prophet. I mean, I don't even know how long ago this particular clip was, or this video was, but honestly, it is what is happening right now. Many people are exploiting people through religion and everything. Oh my god. And I don't even understand how people use the cases or things like religion, race, tribe, and everything, just brainwash people into a different narrative. Oh my god. Wow, it is happening now. And I think in all sense, in all reality, it's become even worse. Wow. Wow. This is an eye-opener. This is an eye-opener because this particular clip, I'm believing, was done years ago. I mean, Dr. Thomas Sowell is 93 years old now. 93. And I don't even know how long or how old he was when he said this. I'm sure if they had played this clip to him, or if they played this clip to him and show him what he said some couple of years ago, seeing that is happening now, he would be marveled. Oh my god, it's crazy. And it's definitely gonna get worse, because that's a movement lots of people know how to do, and that's the agenda lots of people know how to do. So they are just gonna repeat this all over again. So it's just like a repeated cycle. And yeah, I feel really sad for the people who are being brainwashed into this, for them to make them feel as victims or oppressors and the likes. They play with people's emotions. So it's just like an emotional game. Like I said here, it's based off emotions. So they look for the things that they will use to get people. So playing with people's emotions is crazy. Oh my god. So these people, they know what they are doing. So what they do is they look for the things that, how are these people going to respond? Okay, what exactly we're going to use to get them to respond, play with their emotions. So people know that race is a very triggering word, is a triggering one. Belief, religion, and all of that likes and everything. Like, they just use all of this to play with people's emotion. And I mean, it's crazy. Wow. But yeah, I love listening to Thomas Sowell, and I love learning from him, and I've learned a lot from him so far, and I'm glad that I did. And I urge and encourage lots of people to also find the opportunity to learn from Dr. Thomas Sowell, because there is nothing you will find from Dr. Thomas Sowell that you won't find interesting or useful. But hey, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. What are your thoughts about this particular one, and what are your thoughts about America 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and how it is now? I would really love your thoughts about that. What are the similarities and what are the differences, or what are the things you find different, or what are the things you find similar compared to economy, belief, race, and everything that is going on. I really want to check in both comparisons to see if there is any correlation or there is any relation between America when it's 10 years ago, 20 years ago compared to now. I really love your thoughts on that. You can share all the useful information you think might be really helpful. And until next time, see you in the next video.